Oh, let's name the zones, the zones, the zones. Let's name the zones of the open sea. Hey guys, it's Lance with CinematicGalaxy here today, and welcome to my review of Finding Nemo, the 5th Disney Pixar film. Finding Nemo came out in 2003, and by this time Pixar was, again, as with Monsters, Inc., they were already a household name, but they were even more of a household name. Everybody associated Pixar with quality animated films. And when it was released, Finding Nemo actually became the highest grossing animated film of all time. It was later beat out by Shrek 2 the year after that, but still, it grossed a whole bunch of money. An interesting fact, I don't know if it still holds up, but I know at one point this movie was the highest grossing DVD of all time. Now that is incredible. Anyway, I saw Finding Nemo in theaters probably about a month or so into its release, and I don't even remember. I think it was a movie I wanted to see, but I wasn't sure how much I wanted to see it. But I remember going to see this film way back then, and it was just such a great theatrical experience. First off, I went into this film knowing virtually nothing except the fact that it dealt with fish, and that the story revolved around finding Nemo, obviously. But I didn't really know anything else about the story. So when we get that opening scene that will remind people of movies like Bambi or The Lion King, where Nemo's mother gets killed and all his brothers and sisters as well, it really surprised me. I was not expecting that going into this movie, and my mom was who saw it with me, and she wasn't expecting it either. But anyway, on to what I thought about the film. What do I think about Finding Nemo? More or less the same thing I think about the previous Pixar films I reviewed. I love this movie. I think that it's a great, great film. Now, as with all the other Pixar movies, the first thing that stands out immediately is the visuals, the graphics, the animation. Yeah, it looks fantastic. You know, just the fact that these are fish underwater, and you know, they really have to sell that, and they do such a great job here. They achieve things with this that they probably wouldn't have been able to achieve back when the first Toy Story film came out, but the technology has obviously come a long way with this film, and just all the fish, the way they move and everything, it's just so believable, so well done, and the ocean is just spot on perfect. I mean, it looks incredible. You get so many great, great underwater shots in this film, so many beautiful shots, and what's so great about it is that it's not too real looking, but it's real enough looking to where you believe it. And that's one thing. I've always been fascinated with like underwater. I mean, I probably wouldn't like scuba dive or anything. It would take a lot for me to do that, I'll just be honest with you, but I'm still very fascinated with like marine biology and underwater life and stuff like that. I just find it fascinating that there are actually these animals that have to be underwater to survive. That's incredible. But all that would mean nothing if this film didn't have a great story and great characters, and this movie definitely has a great supply of both. The characters in this movie are just all so unique and colorful, and you know, just seeing all the different fish, like even the characters that don't talk, just seeing them, you know, minor characters and stuff, it's just so great to look at, seeing these fish swimming underwater and stuff. First of all, we have Marlin, who's a clownfish and Nemo's father, and he's very overprotective of Nemo because of the tragic thing that happened in their past, and you can totally understand that. I mean, he might get kind of annoying to some people because of how overprotective he is, but he really, I mean, he's supposed to be kind of annoying because, let's face it, it is annoying when parents are overprotective. But you ultimately feel for him, and you understand why he's that way. I mean, it doesn't feel out of place. He's not too obnoxious or anything. We see him go on this great emotional journey. And then we have who is probably most people's favorite character in the film, and that's Dory. And she's voiced by Ellen DeGeneres, and she is such a great character, you know, just so full of life and full of energy. She has short-term memory loss, and that actually plays into the story. It's not just used for cheap laughs or anything. Just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, swimming, swimming. And Ellen DeGeneres just brings so much life and so much energy to this character. I mean, just completely knocks it out of the park. If there's a standout vocal performance in this film, it's probably her. Obviously, we have Nemo, and Nemo, I mean, he's Nemo. He's not, there's nothing really that notable about his character except that he's this fish and he's really the plot device that Marlin has to find. No, he does have character development and he is an interesting character, but he's probably the least interesting character in the movie. Let's just be honest here. But yeah, then we've got the tank gang who Nemo meets in the dentist's office in the aquarium because, as you know, Nemo gets captured and separated from his father, hence the whole Finding Nemo and stuff. And all this group of fish are just so interesting, so colorful, so funny. You got Gil, who's actually voiced by Willem Dafoe, which is pretty awesome. And then you've got this fish who is pretty much a germaphobe, and I think that fish is awesome. We've got Nigel the seagull, who's fantastic and might be one of my favorite characters in the film. But then we actually get to my favorite character in the film, and that is Crush, the sea turtle, who's actually voiced by the director of this film, Andrew Stanton. And that sea turtle, man, I mean, he's just so awesome. He has a California surfer accent that is incredibly funny, and just everything he says. First you were like, whoa. Then you were like, whoa. Then you were like, whoa. Yeah, just everything this guy says is so awesome. He comes at a great point in the film. And I just think sea turtles are awesome in general. I mean, think about that. Turtles that live and swim underwater. And anyway, the story of this movie, the movie is just very heartfelt, very emotional. The relationship between Marlin and Nemo is done so well here. It's also interesting that it's a single father this time instead of a single mother. It just seems like you don't see that as much, but it works really well here. But yeah, you really are right there with these characters on this emotional journey. You're with Marlin, you're with Nemo, you're with Dory. You're with all these characters, and even the tank gang, you know, all these characters have emotional investment in what's actually happening, and that's great. Now, I think Finding Nemo is also incredibly funny. I mean, first of all, we have characters I actually didn't mention who are these sharks, this group of vegetarian sharks. They're like recovering alcoholics, and they're just so funny. Yeah, Bruce the shark, man, he is hilarious. He cracks me up in this film. And the others are so great as well, and again, they steal the movie. It's Bruce. Also, we have this girl, Darla, who shows up later in the film. She's this terrifying little girl who, she's the niece, I think, of the dentist. And he always gives her a fish from the aquarium every time she comes over. And she ends up shaking the bag so hard that she ultimately ends up killing the fish. And the fish are terrified of her. All the scenes involving her are just hilarious. One of the scenes in this movie that just has me in hysterics, I mean, I don't know why it's so funny, but it's hilarious to me, is when Nigel, the seagull, he comes crashing through the dentist's office. He has Marlin and Dory in his mouth. They're looking for Nemo, and he just causes like a ruckus throughout the whole office, you know, crashing into things and knocking things over. He knocks the dentist in the face, and, you know, the whole scene is so funny. Fish in my hair. Yeah, that's some funny stuff right there. Just really good comedy. Some people might think the jokes in this film feel a little more childish and a little more silly, and they kind of do, but it's in a way that it still manages to appeal to adults. I mean, it's witty, it does feel more kiddie, but it makes sense, you know? This film actually has very exciting action sequences as well, much like Monsters, Inc., exciting chase sequences and stuff. And the interesting thing about Finding Nemo is it does feel like a big epic journey. I love the kind of cliffhanger feeling of the film. Whereas at certain points we're following Marlin and Dory on their quest to find Nemo, at other points, as soon as they're about to get to the exciting part, they cut to Nemo and the tank gang in the dentist's office. And you're just left wondering, okay, what's happening with Marlin and Dory? Where are they right now? And the way that's done in the film is just so great. Also, the music, the soundtrack, it's the first one that is actually not done by Randy Newman. It was done by Thomas Newman, who I don't think they're related, but anyway, Thomas Newman did the Shawshank Redemption and other films like that, and his score is beautiful. Just so great for this film. Really fits the emotions of this film, you know, all the different emotions. Really fits the ocean and the sea as well. It's just done so well. And I love the ending credits of this film that use that song, Somewhere Ba-Dum-Bum-Bum Beyond the Sea, somewhere waiting for me, Ba-Dum-Bum-Bum. Yeah, I'm not about to get overboard with that, but anyway, you get the point. I love that song. I think it fits great into this film. Gives it such a nice, again, ocean feeling, you know? However, there is one major flaw of this movie. And, oh man, I can't even say this with a straight face. There are no flaws with Finding Nemo. It's pretty much perfect in my eyes. And this is getting boring, I know, but like the other Pixar films, the previous ones, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's one of my favorite Pixar movies. And it's gonna get an A+. I mean, yeah, Finding Nemo is great. I love this film. What can I say? So anyway, guys, let me know. What do you think about Finding Nemo? Do you think it's a great film like I do? And also, who are your favorite characters in the film? Mine is personally Crush, though I also love Dory and Nigel and characters like that. But anyway, guys, stay tuned for my review of The Incredibles. And anyway, see you next time. And this is Lance from CinematicGalaxy signing off. Oh, let's name the zones, the zones, the zones. Let's name the zones of the earth.